Welcome into First Pitch for Tuesday, June 20th. I am Drew Martin, joined by Ralph Michaels, Steve Merrill, Dwayne Bryan of WagerTalk.com. $2 Tuesday, and we got him here, Steve Merrill. Batting in our two-hole, I got Ralph Michaels at the top of the lineup here as we got big game breakdown and best bets coming to you. Feel free to join us in the live chat box. And also, if you're watching on replay, feel free to chime in below. But Ralph, heading to you for big game breakdown, heading out west here. San Francisco hosting the San Diego Padres. What are you looking to do in this NL West battle?
Well, Drew, if these teams lived up to their expectations with the current pitchers, San Diego I would have as a 140 or 150 favorite. But San Fran playing a little bit better than expected, 8 games over 500. And San Diego still amazingly under 500 by 2 games with a 35-37 record. So, I look at this and I look at last night's game. San Diego led 4-2 into the 9th inning. San Fran gets 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th and then a 3-run walk-off homer to go into the 10th. And here's something that you may find surprising, Drew. When I went to the database, teams at home, playing at home again, that had a 9th inning comeback. So they either won as a walk-off in the bottom of the 9th or won in extra innings, are only a 39% play despite being an average favorite of minus 112. So anytime you can fade a situation that's over 60% with a team being a favorite, it's a good thing. So I'm going to guess that most people probably would think if a team was at home, got a walk-off win, that there were positive expectations or that momentum would carry over. But it has not been that way. And again, I went back in the database for the last 6 years. I look at the Padres, though. They've been up and down, but they've done one thing consistently. They've bounced back after a loss. They're 9-1 their last 10 games off a loss as a favorite or a small dog. And while both pitchers have failed to get out of the 3rd inning in their last game, I have a much more consistent pitcher in Lugo. In his previous 7 starts, he allowed 2 runs or less each time with a 24-5 strikeout walk ratio in those previous 6 starts. DeSclafani with a 9.00 ERA and 1.917 whip in his last 3 starts. Better team, very fair price, much more consistent pitcher, in a great situation off a loss, fading a team off a walk-off, come-from-behind win.
Next up, our $2 Tuesday handicapper, Steve Merrill. Steve, first 5% of the year, man, going tonight. Over 1,000 MLB games, and he's in with his 5% play. For tonight's action, you can get it for just $2. And Steve, your big game breakdown here. I'm seeing the Blue Jays and the Marlins. What a game yesterday. And Kikuchi versus Perez. Interesting handicap. What are you thinking in the fish tank tonight?
Yeah, Drew, over 1,000 baseball games this year, and this is the strongest play I've seen all season. It's my first 5% MLB best bet. Normally it'd be $35, but it's just $2 because everything aligned right, and it is $2 Tuesday at WagerTalk.com. This game not quite as strong, a game that was just a bit outside for making the cut, but it's still an interesting game to talk about. because first of all, it's your Miami Marlins and Prez and Carmines and Andrew McGinnis. Is everybody else north of the border is Toronto Blue Jays. You know, the AL East is stacked this year. I'm going to talk a little bit more about another AL East team, actually, my best bet segment. Sitting fourth right now in the AL East. They're +4 net runs. Every team in that division is plus runs on the year. But the other Eastern division, the NL East, we thought would be just as strong, and only one team is positive run differential in that one, and that's the Atlanta Braves, who are +100. Everybody else, including the second place Miami Marlins, who might be 11 games above 500, they're actually negative 13 runs. However, Miami was a play-on team for me when the season began. I mentioned the Texas Rangers and the Miami Marlins. Both are in playoff position right now. Texas is for real. Maybe Miami's not, but I think in this game, we can make a case for the Miami Marlins still. You know, I always talk about handicapping red flags, and when a team is in a really good spot and they underperform, I've always said I'm a little more cautious with them going forward. But it works the other way as well. When a team is in a negative situation and they perform well, then sometimes I'm not afraid to back them maybe a little quicker than I would have. And I bring that up because the Marlins were in what appeared to be a difficult situation. And Ralph Michaels, his son Jeff Michaels, we've all talked about it a lot here the last few weeks. These teams on 6 or more road trip that come back home and have to play without rest or in negative situations. Now, the best spot is when they have a day of rest. And that wasn't the case with Miami. They came off a national day at DC here, went right back down to Florida. So it wasn't much of a trip, but they came out strong last night, man. 11-0, 19 hits. In fact, they had 12 hits on Sunday against the Nats. They've put up 31 hits their last 2 games. And I love offensive momentum. And Toronto is a team that has underperformed offensively all year. They're in the middle of an extended 9-game road trip, 3 sets of 3. So 9-game road trip here. And this is the 8th of the 9 games. I think they'll be looking forward to getting back to Toronto here. They've had single-digit hits now in 6 straight games. I think these might be 2 teams heading in opposite directions here. So I'll take a look at the Miami Marlins at home tonight on Tuesday.
Sure. We've seen Steve move here towards the fish at home with Perez on the hill. He's looked pretty good. When you watch him, it almost reminds me of Sandy Alcantara. He's big, he's long, he's strong, he throws hard. So all of that pointing towards the Marlins. Good stuff from Steve Merrill, the $2 handicapper, and his 5% play up at WagerTalk.com, discounted to just $2. And speaking of 5% plays, seeing Dwayne Bryant, he's in with a 5% play. 10-2 his last 12, 5% sides, plus 18% bankroll increase this season in MLB. So he's seen it well on the diamond. Dwayne, congrats to you for the good start here in MLB season. And I'm seeing the Atlanta Braves and the Philadelphia Phillies, an NL East battle here. What are you looking to do with the Bravos and the Phils tonight?
Yeah, this should be a good series. We're kicking it off with Spencer Strider and Ranger Suarez, and something's got to give here. I mean, the Braves come in 6-game winning streak. The Phillies come in 6-game winning streak. So something's got to give there. The Phillies, they're 8 games behind Atlanta in the division, pretty much where they are every year, behind the Braves in the division. But they proved last year you don't got to win the division to win the NL pennant. You know, you just got to make it into the playoffs and get hot at the right time. You know, and they're pretty much doing the same thing they did last year. It was the rest time where they got hot and they got in, and the rest is history. This is a series that's been dominated by the home team, the Braves, 16-8 at home against the Phillies over the last 3 seasons. Phillies 14-8 against the Braves over the last 3 seasons. Then you look at the starters here. Spencer Strider's had 1 regular season start in Philly. That was last July. Gave up 1 run in 6 innings. Suarez, he's had 4 career home starts against the Braves, posted a 2.18 ERA and a 1.11 WHIP in those games. So both strong there. Then you look at this from the team aspect, and the Braves are 6-1 in road night games against the letter. Games by 6.4 to 1.4. They lost the last one at Oakland the last time out. And the Phillies, they're 2-0 as a home dog at night against a right-handed starting pitcher. They average 10.5 runs per game in those games. Then you look at the total perspective of this game. Atlanta's 11-3 over/under in Strider starts this season. And you know he's not giving up a ton of runs, so you know the Braves are getting him a ton of support. And on the other side of that, the Phillies are 1-12 over/under off 3 or more wins. So it seems like every time I find an edge in this game 5 or the under, and find a counterpoint to negate it. The one glaring metric that's me is that Atlanta's got a 135 plus against left-handed pitcher. That's number one in MLB. Phillies have a nice WRC plus versus right-handed pitching at home, which is 4% below average. So I lean to the Braves here. I have not bet this game, but I do lean to Atlanta in this matchup.
Dwayne Bryant, 5% play up for tonight, WagerTalk.com. Guys, it is time for best bets. Feel free to fire away any questions in the live chat box. Also, feel free to reply below if you're watching on replay. We'll head back to the top of the order here. Ralph Michaels, Chicago Cubs, Pittsburgh Pirates in PNC here, Ralph. One of the most, probably the best newer ballpark anyway, in my opinion. What are you looking to do in Pittsburgh tonight here, Ralph?
Drew, can I throw you for a loop? I want to ask
Yeah.
everyone a question. If we can get the whole panel on, because I want to see this, because this shocked the hell out of me. Dwayne was just talking about a game where both teams had win streaks of 6 or more. So I went back to the database. Let's go back to 2004. How many times have MLB teams played where both teams have won at least 6 straight games? 20,
I make the over.
100, or 500?
Shoot, I was going to make the over under like 12. So I'll take the lowest one you offered there.
Yeah, I would say 20.
And how far back again, Ralph?
2004.
It only
No,
happens
I'll take a
year,
little bit
probably.
higher. I'll take the middle selection.
The
I think
100?
you said 100.
Steve, I
Yeah.
did throw you off, and your guess was actually very good. This is only the 7th time since 2004 that MLB teams have played each other with a win streak, because it has to be game one of a series because you're playing each other. So
Correct.
2008,
Yeah.
2012, 2016, twice in 2019, and the last time was 2021 in August, the Braves against the Yankees. So the home team 3-3, but to get 2 teams with win streaks of 6 or more, only the 7th time since 2004. So I just found that interesting as hell. You don't think about it, that you get these 2 teams hot. It's that rare in the MLB.
Well, and Ralph, my first thought was going to be I'd lean towards the over because they're probably both red hot offensively. You have anything on the totals in those games?
3-3. Average totals 8. Average run scored 10.17. The last one was
so
a
they
5-1
were higher scoring
score.
then. Yes, so they were higher scoring
Yeah,
than
but-
average then, even though they went 3-0.
Yeah, 3 overs and 3 unders, but only the 7th time. So sorry, Drew, but when Dwayne was talking and I went to the database, it shows you how rare this really is to have 2 red hot teams facing each other.
It's awesome.
No need to say sorry. Love the trends as always, Ralph. Not sure if you wanted to hit your best bet or wait a little while. Either way, man, we're good.
Yeah, no, I'm good. You know, my best bet, this is an actual client release. It's first 5 innings, game 953. Cubs with Stroman, minus 135 against Pittsburgh. Really hot versus cold. Listen, Pittsburgh's just in a slump, period. Not only have they lost 7 straight games, they're losing those games by an average of 7.3 to 2.4. They're losing by 4.9 runs per game. The Cubs lost 2 games ago, but they're 6-1 their last 7 games, and they're averaging 7.4 runs per game. Batting, Pittsburgh, their last 7 games, 197. Team pitching the last 7 days, a 7.26 team ERA. The Cubs batting 287 and a team ERA of 3.0. And Stroman's been Mr. Consistency. He has not allowed over 2 runs, but once in his last 10 starts. So 9 out of 10 starts, he's allowed 2 runs or less. He's pitched at least 6 innings in 6 straight starts. He's averaged 7 in that time. And I'm getting a very fair price with the Cubs. Hot against cold, one of the most consistent pitchers on the mound. Simple for me. Actual client release, actual 3-star play. First 5, game 953, the Cubs.
I get Ralph Michaels, WagerTalk.com. I'll follow that up, guys, with the Arizona Diamondbacks, wrong team favorite. I got them plus 110 tonight in Milwaukee. Think it's kind of a toss-up here with the starting pitchers, but we do get a slight bullpen advantage. The hotter lineup, the better lineup against handedness of pitcher they're facing. both righties here. And we get the first place Arizona Diamondbacks plus price. Now Milwaukee looking up at Cincinnati in the NL Central standings. They just lost 9-1 last night with Corbin Burns on the hill. Arizona, very good on the road outside of the desert, 21-11 on the season. I think they carry that tonight. Wrong team favored. I'm on the Diamondbacks plus 110. Risk 100 to win 110 on the D-backs tonight for my best bet. Throw it down here to Steve Merrill. Guys, a reminder, $2 Tuesday, and it is Steve Merrill, 5% play. First of the year for Steve. So, Steve, throw it over to you. Final thoughts here for the show. And Boston Red Sox, Minnesota Twins tonight. Where are you heading for best bets?
Going to look at a free baseball play here for Tuesday night. In fact, it's one of many free baseball plays. I'm going to give it free here on the show, but there's an additional free play, a run line plus money play on my page right now, SteveMerrillWagerTalk.com for Tuesday night. And while you're there, though, check out the most important play, not of only tonight, but this entire season. And that's because it's the first and only 5% MLB best bet I've had this entire season. Over 1,000 games played so far. And this is by far the strongest play I've seen all year in Major League Baseball. Normally it'd be $35, but you get it for just $2 because everything aligned right. And it is $2 Tuesday at WagerTalk.com. Don't delay. Go get that strong play and a bonus free play right now. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, $2 Tuesday best bet. Let's look at another free play, and this is also at an underdog price. Boston Red Sox plus $1.20 to win outright. You know, I mentioned earlier in the show that it's always a red flag when teams underperform in good situations, but it's the exact opposite when a team performs well in a bad spot. And it looked like a really bad spot for Boston last night on Monday, having to travel with no rest to Minnesota after just sweeping the Yankees, including the Sunday night win. But the Red Sox did not show any fatigue or letdown whatsoever. An easy 9-3 win, 10 hits. In fact, Boston has now had double-digit hits in 4 of their past 5 games. And I don't think they cool off tonight. Meanwhile, Minnesota really struggling offensively. 7 hits or less now for 6 straight games. Red Sox are the better team this year, by the way. They might be in last place in the AL East, but they have a positive run differential. Meanwhile, the Minnesota Twins are in first place in the AL Central with a losing record. Boston would be 2 games ahead of Minnesota in first place in their division, but they're last in their own. They're underrated. They're turning it on right now, and I like the offensive momentum. The only reason they're a dog in this game is because Cutter Crawford is a starter, and he hasn't been good as a starter, no question about it. But overall this season, he's had 8 other appearances in relief, so 13 games this year, a 1.13 whip, which is very respectable, 41 strikeouts in just 40 and a half innings. I look for Crawford to pitch better than expected tonight against a ice-cold Minnesota offense. Better team, better offensive form. Boston Red Sox plus $1.20, a live dog tonight at 8 Eastern on Tuesday. Don't forget an additional free play right now on my page, and most importantly, my first 5% best bet of the entire season for just $2. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com.
Great stuff from Steve Merrill. Check him out there. $2 Tuesday, and Dwayne Bryant, guys, 5% play up for tonight. 10-2, his last 12 5% sides. Will get his best bet right now. Dwayne, I'm seeing Texas and the Chicago White Sox, and it's a good thing because some people were chiming in with some questions on this game if you like Texas. So I'll throw it over to you, man. Final thoughts for the show, and where you heading for best bet?
Yeah, they probably aren't going to like what I have to say about this one, but good luck, Steve, on your $2 play today. And I also have a 5% MLB play tonight. I cashed a 5%er last night on the Reds' first 5 run line. And like Drew said, 10-2, my last 12 5% MLB sides going back to last season. This one's backed by situational angles that are combined 37-2, 95%. Those are included in the write-up. So you can get that on my page, dbbets.com. As for my best bet for the show, I'm leaning White Sox first 5 on the run line, plus a half run at minus 125. We're listing Eovaldi and Cease here. And because most of my plays are first 5 innings, I dive deep with this starting pitchers. And Nathan Eovaldi threw 102 pitches at Tampa Bay on June 10th. Then came back on 4 days rest through 105 pitches against the Angels at home 5 days ago. You have to go back exactly 5 years ago to the day, June 20th, 2018, since Eovaldi threw over 100 pitches in 2 straight starts with only 4 days rest after each start. So what happened in the start that followed? Well, this situation occurred 5 times in Eovaldi's career, and he produced a 6.21 ERA and a 1.52 WHIP in those 5 games. Not surprising, his team was 0-5 in those 5 games. Now you have all these 5 years older since he was last in this situation. That right arm's got 5 more years of wear and tear on it. So I can't imagine the results are going to be too much better this time around. And for as much publicity as Texas's offense has gotten this season, this isn't one of its better hitting situations. The Rangers only own a 97 WRC plus on the road against right-handed pitching. That's 3% below average. And they haven't hit Dylan Cease well at all. In 51 plate appearances against Cease, Texas hitters own a 116 average and a 195 weighted on base average. On the flip side, though, Chicago's hitters have had great success against Eovaldi. In 54 plate appearances against him, White Sox hitters own a 326 average and a 416 weighted on base average. So while Chicago's season-to-date offensive numbers leave a lot to be desired, they have had success against Eovaldi, and we've already established that he's in a fatigue spot in which he has not performed very well in the past. Back to Cease, though, he's put together 3 straight solid starts. And that last one, it was in LA against the Dodgers. He gave up just 2 runs on 4 hits in 5 1/3 innings, struck out 10. I think he can carry that over here at home. He's on a pretty good run right now. So given each pitcher's situation heading into tonight's game, I like Chicago's chances of at least being tied after 5 innings. So taking the White Sox on the first 5 run line looks like a solid play to me.
Dwayne Bryant bringing the heat on his best bet, 5% play up and available for tonight. Daryl in the chat box saying anyone like Angels and Dodgers over. Daryl, I don't know, man. West Coast at night, Kershaw versus Detmers, both starting pitchers, been actually pitching very well. Kershaw, his last 3 starts, just 4 earned runs. And Detmers on the other side of things, he's really turned his season around, just 1 earned run in each of his last 2 starts. So it's a total of 9, I believe, at least it was last night when I was breaking down this game. I know both lineups have been good overall for the full season. However, the Dodgers, not so much in the last week. I didn't bet the over. Didn't bet the under either. But I don't know. 2 hot pitchers wouldn't be me, West Coast at night. But thanks for the question anyway. And Paco Healy, huge shout out to you, man. If you're listening again, I shouted in the reply section here. He's tuning in from Rosarito Beach, Mexico today and he never misses a day. So shout out to you, Paco. Salute to you, south of the border, Wisconsin guy as well. Sonny Potts, all you guys. Thanks for chiming in the reply section and in the live chat section. Please smash the like button if you're liking the content here, guys, and check out Steve Merrill, that $2 Tuesday play, WagerTalk.com. Dwayne Bryant, that 5% play up. Ralph Michaels, I am Drew Martin, all at WagerTalk.com. So, guys, that does it for the show here. First pitch on Tuesday. We will be back tomorrow. Early start for the show, so come back and join us. Thanks for tuning in. Cash those tickets.